Hello, and welcome to the AI Captain's audio log newsletter for the week ending in August 14th, 2026. I'm your host, Elizabeth Fortunato. This week, we're looking at the less visible use of artificial intelligence in the marine world. Not navigation, not collision avoidance, not autonomous vessels. Instead, we're looking at paperwork, business decisions, and systems that sit behind the vessel operations. The topic is Agentic AI. Agentic AI refers to AI systems that can carry out several steps in a task, rather than simply answering a question or a single question. In other words, instead of giving someone information and waiting for the next instruction, these systems can be designed to review documents, identify key details, flag issues, and route work to the right person or team. That capability is beginning to move into contracts, voyage orders, claim management, sales, and vessel operation. And it raises an important question. When an AI system influences a decision, who is responsible for checking its work? Much of the AI conversation in maritime industry has centered on operations at sea. I've talked about AI-supported navigation, sensor fusion, route planning, weather routing, predictive maintenance, USVs, and vibe coding applications, to name a few things. But shipping and boating also run on a tremendous amount of paperwork. There are contracts, surveys, voyage orders, insurance claims, maintenance records, sales orders, trade-in appraisals, just to name a few. Many other documents that require people to read, compare, interpret, and make decisions. According to MLA College, Agentic AI is being tested for tasks such as interpreting charter party contracts, automating voyage orders, and streamlining claims management. These agreements can be long, technical, and full of specialized language. For example, a charter company may address lay time, which is an agreement about the time allowed for loading or unloading cargo. It may also address demurrage, which is a fee that may be owed when loading or unloading takes longer than the agreed lay time. This is the kind of work where agentic AI can be useful. How AI is moving beyond the bridge. Agentic AI is still early stage technology. It is appearing alongside AI systems that are already more established in the maritime operations. One example is predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance systems use data from engines onboard equipment. They may look at vibration, temperature, pressure, and performance trends and other signals. The goal is to spot a part that may degrade before it fails. Another example of an AI-supported system is a voyage and weather routing. These systems can help operators evaluate options, weather conditions, fuel consumption, and schedules. Some reports indicate that AI-supported routing can reduce fuel costs as much as 15% in certain operations. AI-based anomaly detection is also increasingly important to cybersecurity. For example, a cybersecurity system may notice unusual network traffic, an unfamiliar device trying to connect, or a user account acting in a way that does not match normal activity. As vessel systems and shoreline systems become more and more connected, the maritime industry needs stronger ways to quickly identify unusual behavior patterns. This is a reminder that AI in maritime is no longer limited to the bridge. It's moving into operations, finance, sales, legal review, maintenance, and information technology. What this means for recreational boating. The same shift is taking place in recreational boating. AI is beginning to influence how dealers find customers, prioritize sales leads, and estimate what a used boat may be worth. Lead scoring is one example. Lead scoring systems use information about a prospective buyer to estimate how likely that person is to make a purchase. It may look at a website activity, financing interest, engagement with marketing, past inquiries, and other data. The intent is simple: to help a dealer focus time and attention on buyers that are most likely to move forward. AI-driven valuation tools are also being used in the boat market. These systems can help estimate a vessel's value based on data such as make, model, age, condition, location, and comparable sales, equipment, and market demand. Next Boat announced an AI-driven platform connected with MarineMax, a dealer for inventory and trade-in activity. These tools may make the sales process faster and more consistent, but they also create responsibility. AI-generated lead score can influence who gets a callback. An AI-generated valuation can influence the trade-in offer, and those decisions matter to real people. So the person using the system must understand that it's about a recommendation, not an unquestionable fact. What is the AI Captain's Log viewpoint? We have looked at where administrative AI is showing up, from contracts and claims to boat sales and valuations. But the most important question is not simply what the system can do. It is who can review the results, who makes the final call, and who is accountable when the outputs affect a real person, business, or vessel operation. So who reviews the algorithmic math? That is a central issue. AI can be fast. AI can handle large amounts of data and information. AI can apply the same process repeatedly, but consistency is not the same as correctness. An AI algorithm may produce a lead score, evaluation, or a contract summary. But if the data is incomplete, biased, outdated, or misunderstood, the result can be wrong. AI can hallucinate if not given the proper guardrails. That is why human review is not optional. A person needs to ask, does this result make sense? What information did the system use? What information might it have missed? Could the data contain bias? Can I explain and defend this decision to the customer, client, insurer, or party affected by it? A person operating a boat can often see when a camera, radar display, or hazard detection system has failed to identify something in the environment or the water. It is much harder to see why an algorithm placed one buyer ahead of another, estimated a certain boat value, or interpreted a disputed contract clause in a particular way. That makes accountability essential. The real question is not whether an AI system is fast or consistent. The real question is whether the person using it has prepared to check the work and take responsibility for the final decision. On to the rest of the week's news. There are a few developments worth watching across some autonomous navigation, smart ports, decarbonization, and maritime regulation. Let's start with autonomous navigation robotics. I discussed in last week's newsletter, much of today's autonomous vessel capabilities remain at IMO's level 1 and level 2. Just as a reminder, level 1 generally means the decision support. The system provides information or recommendations, but a human remains in control. Level 2 generally means partial autonomy. The system can carry out limited functions, but human supervision is still required. These systems often combine information from radar, LiDAR, AIS, and other visual and thermal cameras, combining several sources into what's called sensor fusion. Sensor fusion can help create a clear picture, particularly in low visibility, but does not eliminate the need for human oversight. Shore-based control centers are also becoming more involved in autonomous vessel trials. These centers can support route tracking, monitoring, and in some test environments, remote assistance with collision avoidance. Let's move on to smart ports and infrastructure. Ports are investing in private 5G networks to support automated cranes, robotics, vehicles, and other connected systems. Private 5G cellular networks can provide faster, more reliable communications across a terminal than other wireless approaches. Automation is also expanding in cargo handling. Automated guided vehicles, also called AGVs, can move containers or cargo around a port with limited human intervention. Automated stacking cranes can help organize and retrieve containers around the clock. Ports are also using digital twins and the Internet of Things sensors. In a connected port, these sensors may help monitor container status, equipment performance, or the condition of the coil wall, which is the structure where vessels berth. Let's move on to decarbonation and propulsion. The marine industry continues to explore ways to reduce emissions. Liquefied natural gas, or LNG, is still being used as a traditional fuel because it can reduce sulfur oxide and nitrogen oxide emissions compared with other conventional marine fuels. Hydrogen fuel cells and ammonia-ready engines are also moving through pilot programs and early commercial deployment. Wind propulsion is another area to watch. It includes systems such as rotor sails and suction wings. Rotor sails are tall rotating cylinders that use wind to generate additional forward force. Suction wings use airflow and mechanical assistance to generate lift and help propel a vessel. These systems do not necessarily replace the main engine. Instead, they reduce fuel use by giving the vessel supplemental power from the wind. For vessels that cannot immediately add new equipment, slow steaming remains one of the most direct approaches to reducing fuel consumption. Now let's shift to regulatory and liability issues. Following the move towards fully uncrewed vessels still depends on rules that have not been fully settled. Important questions remain around crew liability, insurance, fault assignment, decision-making when an autonomous system is involved in an incident. The IMO, or International Maritime Organization, is working towards a regulatory framework for maritime autonomous surface ships called MASS. The industry is targeting 2027, which is just around the corner, for consensus on that framework. Technology may be moving quickly, but the legal and operational rules required to support it need to be clear, practical, and trusted. AI is becoming part of the maritime industry in places many people do not immediately see. It is reviewing documents, supporting maintenance decisions, ranking sales leads, estimating vessel values, and shaping how companies make decisions. This can be a real advantage when these systems are used carefully, but the human role remains central. Use AI to improve speed, visibility, and consistency. Then apply experienced judgment to verify the result, understand the context, and make a decision, the same way that we would be required to use it on our homes. That is how we use technology responsibly. If this episode gave you something to think about, please subscribe and share it with someone working in maritime boating, technology, or the IT space. I would genuinely like to read your comments. When the AI system influences a contract, claim, evaluation, or customer decision, what level of human review do you think we should be required? Thank you for listening. I'm Elizabeth Fortunato, and this is the AI Captain's audio weekly newsletter podcast. You can follow me on Substack, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. See you next week, and happy boating.